tell our story, let it echo far and wide. Make them hear you, make them hear you. How justice was our battle, and how justice was denied. Make them hear you, make them hear you. And say to those who blame us for the way we choose to fight, that sometimes there are battles that are more than black or white. And I could not put down my sword when justice was my right. Make them hear you. Go out and tell our story to your daughters and your sons. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. And tell them in our struggle we were not the only ones. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. Your sword could be a sermon or the power of the pen. Teach every child to raise their voice, and then, my sisters, then will justice be demanded by 10 million righteous men. Make them hear you. When they hear you, I'll be near you again.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Actors Inc. and Witherspoon's production of Got Something to Say. Sit back, relax, and listen. Really listen. You might learn something.
You know, I sit in this chair every day, all day. Oh, by the way, my name is Lucille Ruby. They call me Miss Ruby. I hate that name, Miss. It makes you seem so old. But anyway, me, my brother, and 2 sisters, we were born, raised, and went to school right here in Indianapolis, Indiana. Never went anywhere else. But you know, back when we were in school, the colored children just went to the 6th grade, and then they had to stop and go to work. They had to help out by washing clothes, ironing, cleaning houses. They helped their parents. But one day, when I got old enough, around 18, I went over there to that new school, the Madam C.J. Walker, to learn her way for fixing hair. And I became a hairdresser. And I fixed everybody's hair around here. So I've been doing hair for over 30 years. And you know, one day when I was walking home from school, I met this young man named Jesse. And we got to talking and became friends. And I knew anything, we were married with 2 children. Jesse worked real hard and we saved up our money. And he bought this house for me and his children. Well, one day we found out that all the colored men around here had to go to that war. So when he went to that war, I knew I was getting kind of old and arthritis creeping up and breathing from the hairdresser fumes. I ended up saying, well, maybe I'll take 2 people in to live with me. But before he went to that war, I came home from hairdressing one day and he said to me, I'm going to build you a room on the back of this house so you can have your own hairdressing shop. Had the sink and the dryer and everything. He sure was a good man, always providing for his family and me. So he went on off to that war. Took in me 2 girls from that school. Then one day I got this letter from the Army. It said that Sergeant Jesse Ruby had been killed in action. Lord, my poor Jesse. My poor Jesse was gone. Well, they sent me a little money, and I used that money to add some more rooms to this house so that I could take in some ladies this time who had jobs and was going to work. They would keep me a lot of company since I wasn't doing that much hair anymore. And those ladies, they turned out to be really good for me. Now, I'll tell you about one lady called herself ML. She lets you know she went to that Lincoln University. She's Miss Diddy. And then poor Patrice, she is just so homesick. But they are all wonderful. And the 2 of them, we get along real well.
Hello, Mrs. Armstead. This is Mel Jefferson. Yes, Nanette's friend. Fine, fine. And yourself? Great, splendid, and I'm sure Reverend Armstead is as well. Miss Armstead, this is very important. Is Nanette available? Please? Thank you. Nanette. Girl, I apologize to Miss Armstead later. I just had to talk to you. You will not believe. You will not believe who's still alive. Giles Mason. Giles Mason. Yes, that Giles Mason. My dearly departed, thought you were departed, fiance from college. No, Nanette. He's alive. He's alive and well and living in Los Angeles. Am I sure? Girl, I work in military pensions. The man is drawing a check, okay? Living in Los Angeles. Married, yes. Some little Filipino woman. You're shocked. Girl, at work, I need to take a lay down, a splash cold water, walk the halls. I need a cigarette. So, yeah, I know. After all these years, yes, not a word, not a letter. After graduating from college, it's just we were supposed to get married. This is the man I'm supposed to marry. Yes, remember, we had the wedding plans all set. After graduation, wedding date set. But no, this fool decides he's going off to war. He enlists. No, I begged him. I pleaded with him. Giles, wait till after graduation. Giles, wait till we're settled. No, he had to be the big hero. Yeah, what big college send-off? Giles Mason goes to war. And yes, and after about a year, didn't hear from him. Not one letter, not dot, dash, zip, nothing. We're thinking the worst. Went through graduation, nothing. After graduation, all through the war. Waited for this fool. Yeah, I know. I was pitiful. If it wasn't for you and Nadine, there were days, yeah, you remember, pulled me from the brink so many times, waiting and watching and hoping and praying for this fool. And now, I know. But what relief? Oh, you mean Grady? Yes. Well, Grady Powell. Yeah, I'm with Grady. Yeah, he's coming along fine. You know, he's big man in St. Louis. You know, he's up and coming. And got his little law practice together. Yeah. Yeah, he's no Giles Mason. No. Well, he's got plans. Mm-hmm. How long have we been together? We've been engaged, let's see, before that, 6 years. Yeah, 6 years. Well, he needed time to get his practice together. It's not easy getting a law practice together. He needed time for, get clients and partners, and that was 7 years ago. Well, he wanted to wait until, he got his ducks in a row. Well, we were waiting for the right time. Yeah. I just heard myself. Waiting. I just had a flash. I'm looking back at Giles Mason and then President Grady Powell. It's almost like, deja vu. Oh, I know. I can't do this. I can't. No, something's got to change. I don't know. Something's got to change. I can't do this. No, I'm feeling, all of a sudden I'm feeling stuck. She's stuck here in Indiana, no place at the finance center. Oh, and God forbid I am stuck here with Miss Ruby and the Little Women. Whew. Frozen in time. Their little prying eyes. And bosom knives. Nanette, I have never, I kid you not. But knife, yes. Another story. Don't ask. And not a man between them. There's something else. Do? Look, Nanette, I didn't earn a fine arts degree from Lincoln University for nothing. No, I had plans. We had plans, remember? We decided after graduation, and I hadn't heard from Giles, we'd go to New York. Yes, we were going to be on the scene. We were going to be the new Renaissance. Remember? What happened? Nanette, this just in, the war is over. What? Well, what are you waiting for? Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to be the Lone Ranger. In a cloud of dust. Now, you can be Tonto, or you can be over there with the Reverend Miss Armstead. Your choice. Now, think about it. Think about it. You, me, Nadine, New York. Okay? Nanette, can we talk about this later? Yeah. One of the Little Women wants to use the phone. Yeah. Think about it. We'll talk later. Okay. Ciao.
Okay, Miss Ruby, I'll be back down in a little bit to get some lemonade. Thank you. Oh, I hear the kids out here. They are playing and having a good time. Yes, they are. Look, kickball. Boy, does that bring back memories for me. Not too long ago, as I'm thinking about home and remembering what it was like to be young like that. Outside playing, having a good time, and just being a kid. And now I'm here in Indianapolis teaching and remembering. Good memories. Very good memories. I'm thinking about my mom, my dad, brothers and sisters in Savannah, Georgia, because that's where I'm from, is Savannah. A lot of culture and heritage there, but that's for another day. Right now, I'm remembering about my father and how hard he worked. And Mama worked too as a housemaker, but Daddy especially, because he worked 2 jobs and we didn't see him that much. Providing for a family back then was hard, but that's okay. I remember one night in particular, I was in the bed with my sister, because we all had shared beds, and she'd be tucked up under me trying to keep that body heat next to her. But I remember one night, I wanted to be happy about seeing Daddy, to see his face coming home off the bus, then to go back to work. And I remember going to the window, but I had to tiptoe out of the bed not to wake my younger sister. Because if Mama thought you were out of that bed, you was going to get a whooping. I didn't want a whooping because she'd be tearing you up with that little leather belt. It hurt. So I tiptoed out of bed and I went to the window and I waited. I know it wasn't very long, but I still was there. And I waited. I was looking. Then under the trees, I could see coming down the sidewalk, his feet. I knew the shoes he wore. So I'm like, there's Daddy. He's coming. He's coming home. Of course, I didn't shout out loud because if I did, that would have woke my little sister, which would have caused Mama to come upstairs. And we both would have got a whooping because we awake and she just knew we should have been asleep, long asleep. Those are the good memories that I have. There are many more, but that one in particular, it just meant a lot for me to see my dad. So I get back in the bed. I'm still remembering the community gatherings that we had from neighbor to neighbor house and just having a good time. Kids out, just like these kids here, are playing kickball, jump rope, all kinds of things that we did. But we were a family and we were happy. We had everything we wanted. Didn't even know we were poor, but we were. But we were happy. That clean house, food on the table, clothes, the whole bit. But working hard as a community, as families, has instilled those values in me as a teacher now, which reminds me I've got papers to grade. And you know, I know I got to get to it, but that's okay. I will. The Lord, I miss home. I miss being with my family. And I want to go home so bad, but I know Mama would say, girl, you better stay where you are and get it together. Because money in the bank beats zero in the bank. So guess what? Get yourself together. Pray to God. He will guide and direct you and stay strong. So I know being here is the right thing at Miss Ruby's boarding house. Nice group of ladies. Wonderful. But it's not home. It's not Mom, my mommy, my daddy, sisters and brothers. But still good. And I'm thankful. Lord, I'm very thankful.
You know, back when I had those girls staying here, just one or two from that school, my baby sister come calling me up because she needed somewhere for her son to live. She said she could not put up with her drinking handyman husband, and he abused her all the time, and this lazy son always losing his jobs. So I said okay and took him in. I had to put him down in the basement, you see, because I had those young girls staying here. His name was Ray Ray. He was my favorite nephew. But Ray Ray, he was awfully lazy. To be so smart in math, and he could really gab, and he could persuade people. His mother thought he had a little potential because she said he went to school with those white kids. And so he might be able to get him a job at Eli Lilly. Well, he did, but he didn't go on time. Sometimes he missed going. So he could not keep the job. He got fired. And every job he would get fired. Because he's not stupid, but truly lazy. And so I decided, since Ray Ray's here, I can no longer keep those young girls over there at that school. And with these extra rooms, I was going to take in me some ladies who went to work. And so that's what I did. I told you about ML and Patrice, but there was Patricia and Lillian. Now, Patricia had a knack for sewing, and that really did help me out from time to time. But Lillian, poor thing, she had a young son. I met her one day, I think it was at church, and she really needed a place to stay. So I offered her to stay here in exchange for helping me out, like cleaning and with the cooking. And so she did. Now those two ladies, I really don't know what I would do without them. And I am so glad that I switched over to keeping the ladies who had jobs instead of the young girls, because they were a little closer to my age, I suppose. But it turned out real well.
I am tired to death. They worked me like a Hebrew slave. I'm telling you the truth. That line was going so fast, I believe somebody sped it up. Them telephones look like greyhounds running. But you know what? I am not going to complain. I'm tired. I got that job and another job, but I've got to stay focused. Trying to get to Chicago Art Institute so I can take up fashion design. I would have my money much sooner if I could have stayed at home and saved. But with so much chaos going on, the fussing and the cussing and drinking, I just couldn't do it. So here I am at Miss Ruby's place. And speaking of that, I better get started on this skirt I'm supposed to be hemming. I told the girl I'd have it done for her by Friday. So I better get started on it. Ooh, that just reminds me, this hemming and sewing. If it hadn't been for Grandma, I wouldn't know how to do this. But we would go downtown to Sears and Roebuck's and get material. Grandma would stay in there so long. And make one outfit and stay in there all day. But I didn't know I enjoyed it, because when we left there, we would walk over to Cressy's 5 and 10 cent store and get us some caramel popcorn. Man, that was the best popcorn ever. And anyway, dang, I've got to get that material for Miss Ruby. I promised her I was going to make some curtains. You know, the little red and white squares, gingham. Make them gingham curtains for her kitchen. I've got to do that. Saturday, I kind of want to go to the movies. So, I better check and see what's on at the Walker. Probably the same old thing. Zorro, 39th chapter. Oh, Lord. Wolfman meets Dracula. Let's see. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Sidney Poitier. Oh my goodness. He's in a new movie. Blackboard Jungle. Ooh, I wonder what that's gonna be about. Ooh, I can't wait Saturday. So, you know what? I think I'll ask Merle Lee to go with me. She's the only one that be liking my outfits. And so I think I asked her to go with me. And while I'm downstairs, I'll try to use the phone. The other day I tried to use it, but Miss Blabbermouth Jessie was on it. Stayed on it 15 minutes. Now Miss Ruby said, now ladies, 10 minutes. And you be fair one to another. But now she stayed on there too long. So now I'm going to try to see if I can go use the phone.
Miss Ruby! Oh, Miss Ruby, where are you? Oh, Miss Ruby, I sure needed to talk to you today. The one day that I needed to talk to you, you're not here. Lord, I guess it's me and you today. I had such a horrible day today. As I was getting off work, coming out of the building, who do I see? James. Then what comes out of his mouth? You got my money. Lord, it was all I could do. I wanted to cut his damn throat. Oh, Lord. I wanted to tell him about my son, our babe. You got my money. I wanted to kill him. I really wanted to kill him, Lord. But I just got on the bus. I got on the bus. And I came here. I came here to you. I wanted to talk to Miss Ruby, but I was going to tell her. And then I lied to her about being married. All these memories I got way back from Holly Springs, Mississippi, stirring all up this day. Lord have mercy. I don't know. This has been so hard. I had to leave Holly Springs because I was with child, my baby, James Jr. I named him James Jr. because he looked just like James. I had to name him that. I had to leave from Holly Springs though, because I didn't want to bring embarrassment on my family. And James had always talked about coming up to the Detroit, and how you could get a good job in the factories and make cars. Oh, Lord. Oh, Father. I just left Holly Springs and I came on up to Indianapolis. I was going to go to the Detroit, though I didn't have enough money. I got off the bus, and there was a lady standing there. She offered me a place to stay, so I get to there. When I get at her house, she's got women coming in and out, men coming in and out, all times of night and day. And I thought it was like James telling me, you better get my money. Lord, Every time I hear them words, it all rises up. Lord. I stays with that lady for a few days. Few days turned into a few months and years. Then I started going to church because I wanted more for me and my son, James Jr. Oh, Lord have mercy. Lord. So I meets this lady at the church. Her name, Miss Ruby. That's how I got here, Miss Ruby. Miss Ruby, a good old lady, I like her. But them other girls that live here with her, they gonna meet my friend because they don't like me. I know they don't. I heard them talking about me. She ain't been no college. She don't have a good job because I work at the Walker Building. I hear some. They keep messing with me. They gonna get my little. One day, James Jr. gonna get him, go to him, gonna get a job. We gonna get out of here. We gonna get to the truth. James Jr. He's going to the truth.
He's telling you about this Ray Ray, my favorite nephew. We know he's lazy. He's left-handed. And when he moved in here, he just had the clothes on his back and a little sack. But he started hanging out at the Walker, and he ended up with the little money he was making. He bought himself a guitar and taught himself. See how smart he is? With a left hand, turned the guitar upside down. How to play on that guitar. But then that's all he wanted to do was hang out at the Coffee Pot Lounge playing that guitar with that musician that sold it to him. And after that, he wanted to get in the alley and shoot crap. Well, you heard about James Lee. James Lee came to town because he had an uncle who had told him so much about up north and about particularly Indianapolis. So he ended up in Indianapolis, to Lillian's surprise. But Ray Ray just met him at that Walker one day, and he wanted to be a playboy, just like James Lee. That's all he wanted, because James Lee, you see, could attract those girls. And Ray Ray, he loved girls and what they could do for him. So he thought if he kind of run with James Lee, he called himself, I call it, brother in training, playboy in training. But now back to my ladies. Enough about Ray Ray. Now, there's Essie. Essie Mae, poor thing, she came to Indianapolis with someone else. I think a relative of hers. And somehow the relative went back, I think it was Cleveland, and left her here. She didn't have no place to stay, so where did she come? Right here to Miss Ruby's place. And then we got us a nurse. So anytime we had a headache, Miss Ruth was right there with the medicine we needed. So we had a good variety of women living here that could help us all out. And so they were willing, and that's what they did. Some pretty good ladies, I think, I took into this place.
Here I am, sitting in the kitchen in the boarding house. It's nice, but I'm really surprised that I'm here. S.C. May from Cleveland, Ohio. My sister Ruth and I came to Indianapolis to see our grandmother. We were excited because we'd never been anywhere. But after we were here about a week, my sister Ruth said she wants to go home. She didn't like it here. And I thought, okay. So she did. She left me here. And I thought, okay, if I'm going to stay, I'm going to have to find me a job and find someplace to live. So I did. I found a job at Lockfield Drugstore, Robert Long Hospital, and then I heard that they were hiring color girls at the telephone company for the first time, which was a great thing. So I applied, and thank goodness I got the job. So they hired 2 of us at a time, and I found out why. They didn't treat us very well. I don't think they really wanted us there. They didn't want to sit next to us. They didn't want to talk to us. So the girl that was hired with me, she couldn't take it, so she quit. But I'm not going anywhere. This is a good job. And I'm not going to let that bother me. So again, I said I had to find some place to stay, so I found this boarding house. And I'm very pleased with it. I like being here. I met a couple of ladies, one of them, Patrice, I believe, and Lois. And they're very nice. And, oh, hi, Miss Ruby. Oh, I wanted to talk with her. I wanted to talk to her about my family. I haven't had a chance to. I came from a large family. My dad worked at a steel mill, and he got injured on the job, and he died from his injury. There were eight of us. Mom had never worked, and there she was left with 8 babies to take care of. And I tell you, it was hard. We struggled because she never worked. But we survived. And my older siblings married and moved away, make a life of their own, and here I am. I moved away. And I'm going to be just fine. This is my family.
Jehoshaphat, thank you, Jesus. My last day. The eye is the lamp of the body. So if your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light. Matthew 6 chapter 22nd verse. On my way in today, I stopped and said goodbye to the ladies, not knowing if I will have breakfast with them tomorrow morning, being that I'm leaving Indianapolis. I'm going home. I'm going back to New York City. where you have music, you have plays, you have people, and restaurants. Food, food, food. I came to Indianapolis, spend 2 years and wind up staying 3. 2 years I spent as a nurse practitioner, what they called then a student in training. I was working toward becoming a licensed practical nurse, and I had to do an internship. My internship I wanted to do in New York City, but it was decided that I needed to step out of New York, the hospitals in the 5 boroughs, and go elsewhere. My parents and one of the instructors decided I should come here to Indianapolis, which I at first didn't know anything about, so it just stuck. But once I got here, it was just too much. The cold weather just hit you in your back and you just froze. You stood frozen in space. And then the summer, it was just too hot. Now, mind you, I came from New York where we had these things, but it wasn't as intense and the cold weather just wasn't that long. As I should have told you before, my name is Ruth Goulding. I am the youngest of 4 siblings, the only girl child, and I'm not spoiled, just lightly handled, let's put it that way. I have 3 older brothers. The older one who thought he was a chocolate, King Edward, and everything that he came out of his mouth should be taken as were, I guess, the most important thing that was being said. And he used to pick on me. And one day I was just crying. Oh, I was boo-hooing. And my uncle said, "What is wrong with you?" I said, "He keeps picking on me." And he said, "Well, you hit him back." And I looked at my uncle. Here I am, 4'11". My brother is 5'8", and my uncle is 6'4". So I thought my uncle was crazy. And I'm looking at my brother, and I said, "He's not going to beat me to death." He said, "Don't worry, you go hit him." And I'm looking. He said, "Go hit him." And I'm still crying. I did. I went and I hit him lightly. Then I really gave it to him. And then I hurt my hand. Daddy Bill said, that's my mother's brother, said, "What are you stopping for?" I said, "I hurt my hand." He said, "Do you want to hit him some more?" "Yes, but now I'm really afraid because I'm saying when Daddy Bill leaves the house, what's going to happen to me?" Well, I looked at him and he's just fuming and getting fatter and, he's overwrought. And I said, "You know what? I'm going to get it today because if I'm going to get beat later, I'm going to beat him now." And I went back and I just hammered on him. When he made the move, Daddy Bill said, "If you move toward her, put your hands on her, that's going to be it." I learned that lesson that if anyone picks on you, male, female, or whatever, you fight back. And if you can't, you run. Legs were too short, but I could run. Then I had a younger brother who I thought we would never be separated. And one day he just picked on me. He always waited till the house was full of people. And he's all over me. So I said, "I'm sick of you," underneath my breath. But then my mother said, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "He's picking on me again." She says, "Well, what are you going to do?" I'm not going to fight him because we have a house full of people. So I just said, I remember what my uncle said, "You think of a name." But I wouldn't tell you what I called him. And when he heard that and people started to laugh and he was outdone. My mother allowed her to talk to me this way. Learned a lesson from him and to him. I gave him a lesson. But I think of all those good things. I think about the amphitheater. I think about actually seeing Paul Robeson in the theater singing to the audience. And then we only pay a quarter to 50 cents to go in and see that on Thursdays. On Fridays, it was small theaters on 112th Street in Harlem. Beautiful plays written and acted out by young actors and older actors. So I'm going back to all of that tomorrow. The bus leaves at 3:30 and Ruth Goulden will be on that bus. But I'm thankful for my time being here in this state. The eye is the lamp of the body, so if your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light. Matthew 6, chapter 22nd verse. My prayerful focus blessed me.
You know, I really enjoy sitting on this porch all day because I get to see all the ladies when they come home from work at the end of the day. And I think they kind of expect to see me sitting here, kind of to greet them. And I enjoy seeing the look on their faces. But I do get away a little, like on Fridays. I have a few friends to come over here and we play cards. Now to play those cards, I have to run that ML out of my parlor and off of that telephone. That lady, she thinks it's hers. But we get in there on Friday and play some cards. So I do have a little fun and not sit on the porch all the time. But you know, I took this one lady in Jessie May. Oh, Jessie May. I had to make me some rules after Jessie May came to live here, and especially after I kind of talked to her. With Jessie May, ML, and Ray Ray, I had to post those rules. No stand out all night, and no men or women coming here spending the night. I had to reinforce what Jessie May's dad tried to do. Now, you take Lois. Lois is the other school teacher. That Lois hits this porch and cannot leave. For 5 to 10 minutes, she's got to tell me about her whole day, the good and the bad. And I've gotten used to it now. So I just let her go on and on about those children and those teachers and what all happened to her that day. She is so funny. She needs that kind of outlet. So you see, that's another reason I enjoy being on this porch when those ladies come home from work. They expect to see me, and I think some of them need me sitting here.
Summer's here. It's hot as hell out there. In here too. Let me turn this fan on. That feels so good. Welcome home, Jessie May. Not quite the home I planned on coming back to, but it'll do for now. Mama sold our house while I was away. She moved to the old folks' home. That's why I ended up here. Got this room in this Ruby's place. She seems to be a really nice old lady. She makes some damn good lemonade too. Well, Jessamine, you did it, girl. Daddy always said I could do whatever I set my mind to. And Mama, she always said, keep your dress tail down and you can make something of yourself. What Mama didn't know, this dress tail been up, down, in, out, over, under, and completely off too. Four of my sisters had babies before they graduated high school. That's why Mama was so strict on me. That didn't stop me from being fast. Me and Kenny, we had some good old fun time in the back seat of that old Studebaker. Mom and Daddy were right. Daddy said, join the military. Right before the war ended, in 45, the military started recruiting lots of coloreds. He said I could learn to be a nurse. Maybe even get some secretarial experience. When I got out, I could get a good paying job at the post office or the finance center. I could even be a teacher since I got my degree from Southern Illinois University. I could work in the hospital or the doctor's office. So that's just what I did. I joined the Navy. Got 2 certificates, honorable discharge and a nursing certificate. Even got some secretarial experience too. When I got off that ship, I gave them a big wave goodbye. A lot of companies are hiring Negroes these days. Good paying jobs too. Westinghouse, Allison Ford, Chrysler Foundry, Chevy, and the post office too. But I chose the finance center. I'm a civil service worker now. Plan on making supervisor after a while. Got my first paycheck today. Well, now that I'm back in Indianapolis, I plan on moving back to the Butler Tarkington neighborhood. That's where I grew up. Right now, I'm working on the far east side of town. I was living in a hotel on the far southeast side of town, just a little bit past Washington Street. Not too safe over there. It's just a few too many poor white trash folks for me. Glad I found this room in Miss Ruby's place. It's over here by Attucks High School, close to the Lockfield Garden area. The A&P, well, it's just a block away. And on Thursday night, that's ladies' night at the Center Street YMCA. We go swimming. The General Hospital over there, well, it's just right across the street from the river. And the avenue runs right down the middle. I like it over here. It's much safer. But I still plan on going back to my old stomping ground. Butler, that's where the well-to-do people live. It's a good mix of whites, coloreds. There's some Mexicans and a few Asians too. Yeah, my old stomping ground. That's where I really want to be. I tell you, this living in the white man's world takes a lot of effort, just like in the military. Have to abide by the rules, regulations, and company policies. But I'm used to it. Oh, there's a dress code too. Just like in the military. I have to be all dressed up in my ivory shirt and checkered skirt. Got to be on time every day. Got to wear my pumps and stockings. Can't take off from work without prior notice. And if I do call in sick, I got to have a doctor's excuse to come back to work. Got to park over here or way over there. That don't bother me none though. Since I don't have a car. I wonder if Kenny still got that old Studebaker. I tell you, they keep a close eye on all us Negroes, making sure we abide by all the rules, regulations, and company policies. Because if we don't, 1, they will talk about us. 2, they will write us up. 3, they will definitely fire us. But I ain't gonna let none of that happen to me. I got plans for that job. If my daddy were alive today, he'd be so proud of me. He'd say, Jessamine, I told you, you could do whatever you set your mind to. My daddy, I really miss him. Well, I'm gonna sit over here and relax for a little while. Me and ML, I really like her. She's a little uppity though, but I could probably learn a thing or two from her. Trisha, she fast just like me. We're going to the 19-hole jazz club tonight. See if we can find some men with good paying jobs. Oh, this feels so good. Damn it. Forgot my lemonade. Oh well. I'll get some later. Well, that's if Essie Mae don't drink it all up.
I tell you, today is Thursday. Thank God. Oh, Miss Ruby? Miss Ruby? I don't know where she is. I thought she'd be here to hear my story today. It has been a day. I knew it was going to be rough when it first started, but I kind of said, oh, it's going to be all right. Didn't work out that way. Poor Bobby was at the bus stop and was splashed by an irate driver. Poor baby. He was hysterical when he got to school. Lord, and the nurse and I had to run and try to find him some dry clothes to put on and settle him down. And oh, he's such a sweet kid. And even-tempered. Well, we got him settled down, and then the bell rang. Oh, the little troopers are coming back for another day's journey in first grade. Well, man, it's 10:30. Am I not glad? It is recess, snack, and nap time. Well, we went to the cafeteria to get our chocolate milk or saltines and chocolate, whatever, and milk and what. And Patty dropped her tray. Mr. Miller, our custodian, was there to clean up the mess, and we got it together. And but this break is over already. We went back to the room and put the mats out for a 15-minute nap, and I really needed it at this time. That 15 minutes went by so quickly. I don't know what happened, but here we go again. Mats put away, and here we go. Everybody settled down, and we're ready to work. And then the fire alarm sounded. Lord, what else? So here we go, outdoors for 5 minutes. And on the way back, little Susie had an accident. The nurse was sent for, and Susie was dismissed. But you know what happened? When she got back, sniggles and giggles went all over the room. So here we go again. Settle down, young people. Let's get started. What else? What else, Lord? Then I'm getting weary, and my feet are beginning to hurt. But lunchtime is coming. Lunchtime, everything went well. But what happened to the time? 1:30 already, and we're back in the classroom. I don't know what's going on, but this has been a day. Would you believe Mary Jane's mother, after we had settled down and gotten ourselves together, Mary Jane's mother comes to take her to the dentist. And you know everybody wanted to go. And everybody was up, and so we had to go through this again. Settling down because it's dismissal time. However, Billy, the brat, couldn't find his raincoat. We looked high and low, under and over. Would you believe the raincoat was in his book bag all the time? Don't parents teach their kids where to put their things and where they belong? My mercy. Well, we retrieved the raincoat. Walking to the bus. Everybody's happy now. It's dismissal. Then, here, Sarah was crying. I said, baby, what's wrong? And she told me her mama hadn't picked her up. Mom was 10 minutes late, to my dismay. But mama was there, and Lord, it's over. Another day. Whew. Dinner, hot bath, and bed. I tell you, that's for the teacher. What a day. What a day. What a day.
Got my children. Can't hold them now. They may not be here, but they're still mine. And I hope they know that I still love them. Got my house. Keeps the cold out. Got my chair when my body can't hold out. Got my eyes. They can't see as far now. But I'm going to take a deep breath, hold my head up, pull my shoulders back, and look you straight in the eye. I'm gonna flirt with me, somebody, when they pass by. I'm gonna sing out. Sing out. But most of all, I am thankful for loving who I really am. I'm beautiful. Yes. And I'm here.
And that just about says it all. Our wish for you all is this. We hope you never lose your sense of wonder. May you never take one single breath for granted. God forbid love ever leave you empty-handed. We hope you still feel small standing by the ocean. When one door closes, we hope one more opens, and promise you give faith a fighting chance. And when you get the chance to sit it out or dance, we hope you dance. We really do hope you dance. Peace and God bless.
Oh well, oh yeah. Oh well, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Do you know that this little girl of mine? I want you people to know this little girl of mine. I take her everywhere we go. One day I looked at my suit was new. I looked at my shoes and they were too, and that's why oh, love the little girl of mine. Do you know that this little girl of mine makes me happy when I'm sad? This little girl of mine loves me even when I'm bad. She knows how to love me right down to a T. If she does any wrong, you know she keeps it from me, and that's why oh, love the little girl of mine. Do you know that this little girl of mine called me last night about 8? This little girl of mine told me that we had a date. She said that she'd meet me at 8:45. Believe it or not, but she was right on time, and that's why oh, love the little girl of mine. Do you know that this little girl of mine knows how to dress so neat? This little girl of mine stops the traffic on the street. When the fellas start whistling, well, I don't mind. I can't blame them because she is fine. That's why oh, love the little girl of mine. And that's why